So I am here to ask you not to grant this increase. And I am a net metering NorthWestern Energy customer, and I am very concerned about the demand charge that is suggested. And I will leave this with you when I leave, but I'll read from it from here on. NorthWestern Energy claims that net metered customers are being subsidized by non-net metered customers. This is absurd when you consider that net metered customers pump electrons into the grid when they have a surplus, but they are only able to pump out of the grid an equal number of electrons. It is a one-for-one trade. And that trade is only valid for 12 months, after which the account is zeroed by NorthWestern Energy. If the argument is that the surplus of net metered electrons from solar panels occurs only during daylight hours, it must be recognized that daylight hours is when the greatest demand is. The timing should save NorthWest Energy the expense of expanding their generation capacity. Net metered customers are not compensated for kilowatt hours which are not used before the expiration of the year, not used by the customer, that is. Yet NorthWestern Energy is free to sell these kilowatt hours at full market price. In addition, all NorthWest Energy customers pay a supply charge each month, regardless of what their consumption is. As was demonstrated by Mr. Dick Walton of Billings in the May 10, 2019 edition of the Helena Independent Record, net metered customers could end up paying NorthWest Energy more in their monthly bill with the approval of this demand charge than they would pay with no rooftop solar at all. Most of us have recognized by now that climate change is real. We need to do all that we can to reduce the amount of greenhouse gases that we are putting into the atmosphere. This seems also to be the age of terrorist attacks around the world. A dispersed generation pattern is obviously a harder target for a terrorist to hit than the traditional centralized system used by most major providers. Generally, net metering seems a good idea all around. Please don't give in to the thirst for increased profits that NorthWestern Energy seems to be pursuing. And as an aside, I recently learned that NorthWestern Energy receives a 11.5% equity return on any equipment, property, and so forth that they own. My wife and I have had our solar panels on our roof for the past, more than 12 years. So I would like to know when how we could go about applying for that equity return on our solar panels. It seems like it's unfair. Thank you.
Thank you.